So getting back into our coverage over Green Arrow in the dawn of DC, we have to remember that this is a story arc where someone is trying to keep the Arrow family apart from one another. Now we have no idea why, but we were left to believe it has to be Amanda Waller who had put this evil plan together. And so in the present day, Black Canary and Arsenal are trying to find her to figure out why she is doing this for, but also how to stop her to get the other members back. Because Oliver, Leanne, and Connor, they are being thrown all over the universe and time itself. And so in the last video, Oliver and Leanne were just teleported somewhere else, but left to wonder where. In the present day, Black Canary and Arsenal went to Belle Reve, the prison that is usually controlled by Amanda Waller, hoping to find her. They don't. They find Peacemaker and Peace Wrecker, who are trying to take them down. And so that is literally it from the first two chapters. And so getting into the third chapter of the story arc, we do pick up with Oliver Queen and also Leanne arriving in the future. Now you're probably wondering, how far in the future? Well, when they do arrive, they are confronted by the Legion of Superheroes. And so that tells us how far they have gone into the future. Now this is a great moment, a great opening scene. And the reason why? Because Oliver Queen is able to reunite with his son Connor. Because remember, thanks to the New 52 and DC Rebirth, Oliver Queen had technically forgot about his son. And so this is the first time they are able to come back together as father and son. It's a great moment. Oliver ignores everybody else and he's all like, hey, it's good to see you guys, but my son is here. And that tells us that when it came to Connor, when he was teleported, he was brought here to the future. Now, once you have everybody calm down, you did have Connor say, hey, listen, Dad and also Leanne, let's go over to the Legion's base. And the reason why? Because I want to show you guys something very important. But getting back over to Arsenal and Black Canary, who are right now in, well, Belle Reve, they're fighting against Peacemaker and Peace Wrecker. Now, while fighting against these two characters, well, we have to remember that when they did arrive in Belle Reve, they found a prisoner known as Vertigo, one of those good old Green Arrow bad guys. Either way, Vertigo claims that he knew something about Amanda Waller and her master plan, except when it came to our heroes trying to interrogate him, well, they were confronted by Peacemaker and Peace Wrecker. But getting back over to their battle does go on for a few pages until you have Black Canary able to stop Vertigo, Arsenal, and also Peacemaker and Peace Wrecker to say, you know what? This is getting us nowhere. We only came here to talk to Amanda Waller, or at least learn what she's actually up to. And so you have Peacemaker say, you know what? I have a great idea. Let's have a competition. Let's see who is a better marksman. Whoever is better is able to get what they want. And so it's up to Arsenal and him to have this competition. Now, once you have Arsenal being able to win that actual competition to say, hey, I am a better marksman, it gives Black Canary and Arsenal the ability to interrogate Vertigo to learn what is Amanda Waller actually up to. Now, when it comes to Vertigo, he doesn't tell much to our heroes nor us as well. And what I mean by that is you have Vertigo say, listen, when it comes to Amanda Waller, she heard that when the Justice League was able to come back to Earth at the tail end of Dark Crisis, Green Arrow was missing. But on top of that, she is collecting. Now, we have no idea what is she collecting, but apparently it's something big. But then we jump back over to the future. Now, when we do, this is where we kind of get a reminder of the character of Leanne, the daughter of Roy Harper, Arsenal. And what I mean by that is, a long time ago, we were left to believe that Homegirl died. Except, well, she did not die. She was alive. And what she tells us is that apparently right after that huge explosion where she should have been dead in, she survived it. She was actually saved by Amanda Waller and somebody else. some other archer. Now, here's the thing. Amanda Waller told her that her family cannot be together at all for unknown reasons. And so ever since that day, when it comes to Leanne, she has literally been teleporting all over the place in different parts of the universe or different parts of time. Either way, every single time she gets closer and closer to her father, unfortunately, she gets pulled away. But then you have Brainiac 5 explain what's going on with our heroes. And what I mean by that is he did a scan on them where he was able to find some kind of implants in each member of the Arrow family in front of him. So Connor has one, Leanne has one, and so does Oliver. Now, this right here does say Amanda Waller's work, because when it comes to the Suicide Squad, they have bombs planted inside their skulls to basically blow their heads off. Either way, when it comes to our heroes, it seems like every single time they get close to one another and Amanda Waller finds out, she is able to just teleport them away from one another to keep the Arrow family apart. But the question is right now, why? Why is she doing that for? But then you have Brainiac 5 say, hey, when it came to Connor, when he arrived in our future, he also arrived with some kind of teleporter that's filled with dark energy. Now, here's the thing, because this is not our first time seeing a teleporter like this. Matter of fact, in the earlier chapters of this series, Oliver Queen also found one next to him wherever he had crashed at. But the thing is, Oliver knows a whole lot more about these teleporters, and apparently it comes with a message. And this is why you have Oliver beginning to believe the idea that his family cannot be together at all. And so you have Oliver go ahead and access the message that comes with the teleporter to show everyone what he saw. And what I mean by that is it's a message from his future self. It's Oliver Queen in the future trying to tell present day Oliver, hey man, we messed up. In the future, there's an event known as the Great Disaster. With that event right there, hundreds, possibly millions of lives are lost. It is all because of the Arrow family. And so it's best for us to stay apart from one another to prevent that from actually happening. Now, before this future Oliver Queen is able to explain even more, the message ends on that note right there. Now, here's the thing though, because it does take place in the future from the present day in DC Comics, but of course in the past for the Legion of Superheroes. Now, here's the thing. The heroes from the Legion of Superheroes, they could tell Oliver and the rest of the Arrow family, did anything like this happen? But the thing is, they can't do that because they have to protect the future. They can't tell you how the future is going to go as a way to protect the future. And so our heroes have to believe that the great disaster actually happened. But then you have Connor and also Leanne go over to Oliver and say, hey dude, listen, even though your future self is trying to warn us of a dark thing to happen because of the Arrow family, we can still find a way to overcome that. There has to be a way to prevent that future from actually happening. And once you have Oliver hear those words come from Connor and Leanne, he's all like, yeah, you're right. We are the Arrow family. We should be able to find a way around this future situation to hopefully make a better future. The problem is though, once he agrees to go with Connor and Leanne to find a better way, the base of the Legion of Superheroes is actually attacked by a Green Lantern. Now the problem is though, by this point in the timeline, in this future, there is no more Green Lanterns. Except there is one. And we come to find out that Green Lantern is Parallax. The problem is Hal Jordan Parallax. And we're left to wonder, okay, how in the world is Hal alive in the future? But also, why is he Parallax once again? Now, this is not the Hal Jordan Parallax you all know from the early days of DC Comics. Matter of fact, this is an alternate universe version of Parallax that somehow just got stuck in the main DC timeline. But on top of that, when he did arrive in the main DC universe, he decided to stay in the future somewhere. Now, with that being said, he does tell Oliver Queen that while being in the future, he was confronted by the future version of Oliver Queen, where you had future Oliver tell Hal that he wants to create some kind of system that would begin the process of keeping the Arrow family apart. And so this is no longer just Amanda Waller or just the future version of Oliver, it's now also Parallax as well. Now, when it comes to Green Arrow, he's kind of like, listen, I know you're not my Hal Jordan, but it's hard for me to believe in the idea that a future version of myself would work with you. Why would he do that? Now, we kind of know why, because again, apparently there's going to be some huge event down the road caused by the Arrow family. But what Oliver is saying is that he cannot believe in the idea that his future self would work with someone like Parallax. But you have Parallax say, listen, I can show you your family, but the thing is, I want to show you what happens when it comes to the Arrow family. They always bring danger around them. But then we have to jump over to Arsenal and also Black Canary going to a bar. Now, when it comes to this bar, it's actually owned by a super villain known as Brick. And Brick first appeared in Green Arrow number 40 all the way back in the year 2004. Guys, that was almost 20 years ago. I feel freaking old. Either way, when it comes to Brick, he was kind of like the kingpin of Star City in a way. But the thing is, you would think, okay, this is Arsenal and Black Canary coming to him because most likely he probably made some deals with Amanda Waller. It's not him. Matter of fact, they came here for someone else, and that would be Cheshire. And I really hope I pronounce her name correctly. Sometimes my speech does mess up a tad bit here and there. Either way, when it comes to Cheshire, she is actually the mother of Leanne. Of course, the baby mama to Roy Harper. But then we jump over to Connor and Leanne, who are still stuck in the future, but alongside with the Legion of Superheroes. Now, here's the thing. Leanne and also Connor want to know what happened to Oliver. He just disappeared alongside with Hal. And you have Brainiac 5 say, well, Hal, or really Parallax, took Oliver to a different point in time. The question is right now, which point in time? And how in the world can they bring him back over here to the present day? Now, with that being said, you did have Leanne realize that when it comes to the Legion of Superheroes, they're so far in the future. That means they should know a lot about the future of the Arrow family. And so it's Leanne saying, listen, Brainiac, you have to tell us, did we actually cause some crazy event that kills off millions of people? Now, when it comes to Brainiac, he's all like, I can't tell you anything at all. Because again, he has to protect the timeline. If you tell anybody about their future, you are technically putting the timeline at risk. Because then they're going to try to change their future in a better way, or possibly a worse kind of way. Now, with that being said, he tells Leanne and also Connor, the Arrow family did not cause any event at all that killed off millions of people. Matter of fact, right now, Oliver is being tricked by someone who also has the ability to time travel. And he stops right there. But that tells Leanne and Connor that they have the chance to actually be a family again with the rest of the Arrow family. But getting back over to Hal and Oliver, we see Hal take Oliver all the way back over to the point where Star City was destroyed by whatever event the Arrow family caused. And so this is Hal saying, look, this what happens to your city. You basically wrecked the entire place alongside with the rest of your Arrow family. Now, Oliver begins to ask questions, and this is really important. And the reason why, because it's Oliver saying, hey, I want to know more. What caused it? What year is this? What led up to this moment? The thing is, Hal is not telling Oliver anything at all. And so you have Oliver say, you know what? Fight me with no powers, no ring, no arrows, none of that. just our fists. And the thing is, if I'm able to beat you down, then you have to tell me everything. You have to give me all the details about this event. But if you beat me, then you can leave me here to suffer and die in this time period. And so you have the two guys fight. Now, while they're fighting, Oliver is able to win. But the thing is, this is not the Hal we all know and love. Matter of fact, this is not the Parallax he had in the 1990s. This is a different version of Parallax. And this version is not okay with losing to Oliver, somebody who's just a regular human. And so you have Parallax just go ahead and use his powers as a way to defeat Oliver and then just leave him there, because he did win the battle, but he did technically cheat to win the battle. Now, after you have Hal leave Oliver there, it's kind of like, okay, what's next for Oliver now? And that is the moment you have Oliver be confronted, well, by Oliver, his future self, the one that gave him the warning about this possible future where Star City gets wrecked completely. And the thing is, this is the old Oliver saying, hey, you know what? It's time for me to teach you a lesson. Now, as we dive into the 5th chapter, we actually do pick up with Brainiac 5 getting ready to send Connor or Lonnie into the time stream to hopefully find Oliver. And once they do find Oliver, their goal is to bring him back here or hopefully take the entire family back to the present day. Now, when it comes to Brainiac 5, he does tell Connor that Connor will go by himself first to make sure this plan actually works. And once Connor is able to get Oliver, then just maybe he'll be able to send Lonnie as well back to the present day. But getting back over to Oliver, but not knowing what time period he's in right now, we see him and the older Oliver trying to get away from an army of people who are trying to, well, kill them. And this is kind of cool because it's older Oliver showing that he still has the abilities to be a good Green Arrow. And matter of fact, apparently he has a vehicle that turns into a plane mid-air or an aeroplane, whatever. And for young Oliver, he's kind of like, man, why did I not think of that at all? A car that turns into a plane that's shaped like an arrow. Beautiful. Either way, you didn't have both Olivers head over to the Oliver Cave, or not the Oliver Cave, the Arrow Cave, sorry. But once they do arrive in the Arrow Cave, you didn't have older Oliver tell our Oliver, hey, relax and chill for a little bit, catch your breath, and we'll talk. And I would tell you everything you need to know about how this actually happened because of the Arrow family. Now, back in the present day, we do see that Connor, Black Canary, and also Cheshire had agreed to work together. And what I mean by that is Roy Harper told her, hey, listen, I was finally able to find our daughter. The problem is our daughter is being moved around in different areas across the world, time, the universe, all these different kind of things. And the thing is, Amanda Waller is behind it. Now, they have no idea that other people are involved in this. But for right now, for our heroes in the present day, the only thing they know is that apparently Amanda Waller is the main person behind all this mess. Either way, you have Roy say, Cheshire, I need you to help me to help our daughter. And so she agrees. Now, here's the thing though, because Cheshire is only doing this for her daughter. Not for Roy, not for Black Canary, or any other members of the Arrow family. And so she says, I know where to find Amanda Waller. Come with me. And so getting back to that future where we actually see the Olivers kind of sitting there together, you didn't have the older Oliver begin to explain what happened in this future that led up to this moment where Star City got wrecked, and how in the world it is the Arrow's family's fault. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to older Oliver, he's not giving out details that technically tell us what happened, what led up to this moment. Instead, what he's actually doing is just repeating the same information over and over again by saying that it's the Arrow's family's fault. And the thing is, every other member of the family is dead except Oliver. And so he tells young Oliver, our Oliver, that he began the process of using a time machine as a way to go back in time to make deals with Amanda Waller, but also Parallax as well, to make sure the Arrow family stay apart from one another. Now, he also mentions the idea that if Oliver never left the island, none of this would have happened. And what I mean by that is there is a story where, of course, Oliver Queen was stranded on an island. And once he was, it turned him into the character we all love so well today. But the thing is, older Oliver is saying that if you had never left the island and became Green Arrow, none of this would have happened. You would have never met the Arrow family and everything would be a-okay. But unfortunately, you left the island, you met the other members of the family, you made a family, and now Star City is wrecked because of you guys. And so I made deals with Amanda Waller and Parallax by using a time machine to kind of fix our mistake. Now, here is the thing though, because you have our Oliver realize that this is not really his older version of himself. That matter of fact, it is a robot that's right now pretending to be older Oliver. And that tells Oliver that this whole entire thing was one big fat lie. Now, we're not told right now who this android works with, but you have the android say that his goal was to make sure that Oliver Queen is alone forever. That this person, this android, is very upset with Oliver for unknown reasons. And right now, all this entire mess that our heroes have been going through in this entire storyline is really more just revenge against Oliver Queen. Either way, he's then thrown into the time stream once again, and we have no idea where he's going to land this time. And so you have Oliver Queen arrive to a different point in time. Now, when he does, he is confronted by a younger version of himself. Now, this younger version is Arrow right after he came back from the dead, which means that the Arrow family is well established by this point. And so this is our Oliver trying to give his younger self a warning about the future. Like, hey man, listen, when it comes to our family, somebody out there is trying to keep us apart. I have no idea who, but this is me trying to give you a warning. Now, before he is able to explain even more, that is when you have different versions of Green Arrow all appear at once. And so it leads into an all-out brawl between all of these different Green Arrows. Now, after a few pages of this fight, it does lead into only two Green Arrows standing. Our Oliver Queen, the present day Oliver Queen, and then another younger version of himself. And this younger version shoots our Green Arrow right in the chest with an arrow. And then our Green Arrow falls off the rooftop and begins to fall to his death. And so getting into the final chapter for today's video, we actually do pick up with Roy Harper and Cheshire getting ready to go on their own to find Amanda Waller. Black Canary is not going to join them, and the reason why, because she wants to check something else out when it comes to finding the rest of the Arrow family, and so she leaves. And so it's up to our other two characters to go ahead and to find Amanda Waller to stop her, but to also figure out what else is she possibly planning when it comes to the Arrow family. But getting back over to Oliver Queen, we see him still falling through different points of time. Now the thing is, every single point of time that he's passing by is really more points of his life. Either way, once he is able to go through all the different points in life, he does crash down in one specific moment of his life. And that would be the time where he went to a circus to become a better archer. Now, here's the thing though, because he kind of remembers some things about this moment, but some things he may have forgotten. Now, that is the moment where he is confronted by another archer. Now, while he's trying to fight against this archer, he is able to grab the arrow from this other archer. And once he does that, he realized that he was able to take away all the energy that was kind of forcing him through different points in time, and it throws him and his new friend here into the actual time stream, which does lead us into the final battle between these two characters. Now, once you have the two archers being able to go into the time stream, well, this is where we kind of find out it is actually Merlin. Now, Merlin is one of those Green Arrow bad guys that got really more popular, I want to say, after the actual Arrow TV show. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't popular before that, but I want to say he got even more popular thanks to the Arrow TV show. Now, when it comes to Merlin, we were left to believe that Homeboy died back in an event known as Event Leviathan. Now, kind of find out, he did not die. Now, most of his body did get seriously injured, so he had to get some cybernetic body parts, but the dude is still alive. Now, when it comes to Merlin, he says that he began to use the ability to time travel as a way to kind of make deals with Amanda Waller and also Parallax, because his ultimate goal was to make Oliver Queen suffer. And how can you do that? By taking away the folks he cares for the most. Black Canary, Connor, Roy Harper, Leanne, destroying the entire Arrow family. And so he said, my goal was to make you suffer, but not for a short period of time. I wanted you to suffer for a long period of time. And so with that being said, it was him saying that I did all of this to just get revenge. Now, it does lead into another battle between these two characters. And matter of fact, you have Connor appear. Because remember, Brainiac 5 was trying his best to send Connor into the time stream to hopefully find Oliver. And of course, Connor was able to find Oliver. And you have Connor say, Dad, it's time for us to go home. It's time for us to get out of here. Now, for Merlin, because when it came to Oliver Queen grabbing that arrow earlier, that arrow is kind of the only way for Merlin to escape the time stream. So he's stuck here for the time being until Merlin can find a different way out. Either way, you have Merlin try to shoot Oliver one more time, but Leanne was able to also come into the time stream to help out Connor to find Oliver. And so she was able to stop Merlin's attack. After doing that right there, you did have all three characters go ahead and exit the time stream. They go back to the present day. Now, once you have our three heroes, Oliver, Connor, and Leanne, being able to exit the time stream, they do arrive back on the island in the present day, the same island that Oliver was stranded at many years ago. Now, once they do arrive back on that island, well, Oliver looks up and he sees Black Canary. Because remember, Black Canary left Roy Harper and Cheshire earlier to come somewhere. Well, she came here because she felt like this would be the perfect spot for her and Oliver to meet back up with one another. And so as soon as she arrived, he arrived as well. And so this begins the process of the Arrow family coming back together. And matter of fact, you also have Leanne and Connor there as well. It is one big happy moment until you then have Oliver ask, hey, where is Roy Harper? Sorry, Leanne asked, where is my father? And remember, Roy went with her mother, Cheshire, to go find Amanda Waller. But then we have to jump over to Roy Harper and Cheshire going to a secret base that Amanda Waller was using that only Cheshire knew about. And so once you have our two heroes arrive, they do find all these different kinds of computer screens. Now, when they do, they kind of find out that Amanda Waller have been watching the entire Arrow family, but not just them, also the Titans as well. Because remember, when it comes to the dawn of DC, there is no longer a Justice League. You now have the Titans replacing that team. They are the main superhero team. But apparently Amanda Waller have been watching them as well. But the question is right now, why? Why has she been watching them for? Either way, when it comes to our heroes, out of nowhere, they are shot from behind by Amanda Waller, Peacemaker and Peace Wrecker. I cannot believe I just said Homewrecker. Oh my God, that's so bad. Either way, you do have those three guys come in and shoot both Roy Harper and Cheshire. And so we're left to believe in the possibility that Roy is actually dead once again. And now Cheshire is dead as well. But apparently Amanda Waller is going to make sure that nobody is able to find them at all. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.